Hi boys and girls, are you ready to go on another scavenger hunt with me? Do you remember the last scavenger hunt we went on? It took place at a different time of the year. It took place in the springtime. Think back about the springtime. We had new leaves, new flowers, baby birds, baby animals. Spring was a time of rebirth. Spring was a time when everything was waking up. And now we're in a different season, the season of fall. Fall is the season where everything's getting ready to rest and fall asleep and build up again for next spring. Let's look around and you can see the differences between spring and fall. If you look, a lot of the trees are losing their leaves. And no longer is it bright green. You see a lot of dark greens, yellows, browns, oranges. The trees are getting ready to go to sleep for the winter, so they pull the chlorophyll back into their trunks and everything starts to go to sleep. Are you ready to help me with another scavenger hunt? This time we're going to be looking for a pail, a green leaf, a twig, a brown leaf, grass, a red leaf, acorns, a rock, pine needles, orange leaf, and a pine cone. Let's look around and see what we can find. I happen to have a lot of pine trees on our property, so the pine needles are going to be really easy to find, aren't they? The green ones are still on the trees, but the ones that are on the ground, if you look, are brown. Those are pine needles too. The pine needles turned brown and some of them fell off the tree. But mostly they'll stay on the tree and green, and that's why we call them what, guys? Evergreens. So we can check off pine needles. We found two kinds. We found the green kind on the tree and the brown kind on the ground. What else did they have on their list that was from pine trees? Look, if you look, I've got a couple of them right here, right? And we learned that this is how the pine cones, this is how the pine trees put their seeds out. The seeds are in the pine cones. And I have a lot of pine cones around here. But we can check pine cone off. And actually, while I'm looking right here, look at this beautiful little maple leaf I found. Is that a yellow leaf? That looks pretty yellow to me. How about you? So let's check off yellow leaf. I'm going to put that in my basket and I'll tell you why later. We're saving some colored leaves. It is pretty still this time of the day, isn't it? Not a lot of birds singing. If you remember in the springtime we had a lot of birds singing. A lot of noise. I just heard some squirrels not too long ago running around. There went a bird there. That was the blue jay. The blue jay kind of from our story that we read. Do you guys see any green leaves? We've got a few yet still, don't we? I've got a maple tree over here that still has some green leaves on it. We can go look at that. Light green. Yeah, I think they'd still count as green. What do you think? Here's some green leaves. They do have some yellow spots on them. This one does, doesn't it? So you can see how the chlorophyll is leaving the leaf in spots. And remember on the video that we watched, it said it'll pull the chlorophyll in, and at the right time, it drops the leaf off of the tree. Oh, I see something else that's on our list. It comes from the mighty oak tree, and that's what this tree is right here in front of us with the big brown leaves. Oak trees hold on to their leaves for a long time. What falls off of an oak tree? Do you remember? I think we brought some in. Look, guys. An acorn. An acorn comes from the oak tree, and it's the seed from the oak tree. Each acorn has a little cap, and then the seed, and that's what falls into the ground and makes an oak tree. And they're actually everywhere here. The deer like to eat. It's an empty one. And I've got little acorns. The deer like to eat those. So we can cross green leaf and we can cross acorn off of our list. Let's keep looking. I'm like filming in Quaco vision here for you guys, aren't I? Now, I do believe on our list is a rock. And I don't know if you noticed, I have lots and lots of rocks around here. So why don't we call this big one right here the rock that we found, should we? And if I find some prettier ones, we'll point those out too. While we're looking at the rock, guess what else I found? Anybody see the bright red leaf? I'll get a little closer. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? That's a pretty bright red leaf. We can cross the bright red leaf off of our list, and I'm going to take that and put that in there. Now, I think we still need an orange leaf. I hope that's easy to find. Let's continue our walk. I'd like to show you guys, if you remember how we walked down to the streams before last year. We can walk down to the stream again, and you can see how that changes too in the fall. I think we still have a brown leaf on our list. That's pretty easy to find around here though, isn't it, guys? We got brown leaves everywhere. We can check brown leaf off of our list for sure. I don't know if I can pick any of those up. I don't know if we need any brown leaves. We're going to do an experiment today on the pigment in leaves. It has a big fancy name. We're going to have to go over the big fancy name for colors. This one's pretty, guys. Look at this maple leaf. We already had yellow, but I think I'll pick up that yellow maple leaf so we can use it for our experiment today in class, okay? Now, I have a couple maple leaves I'll pick up, yellow. Let's keep looking. We're still looking for that orange leaf. One of the things on our list that we needed was a twig. I think you can agree there's twigs everywhere, but guess what I found? I found a twig. It still has all its leaves on it. And it actually has some acorns at the bottom of it. That makes it an oak twig with oak leaves on it. And some acorns still at the bottom. So let's cross off twig off of our list, shall we? Come on, let's keep looking. Another evergreen tree. This is a cedar tree. It's going to look a little different than some of the other pine trees. It's got much shorter needles on it. And you can see how small the needles are on this. But some of the Scotch pines and the other pine trees that I have longer needles on them. Maybe we'll find an orange leaf as we go down the lane. We are at the bottom of the lane, guys. You can see where the woods goes in. Deeper in here, there's no houses back here, but there are quite a few leaves. So let's go. You can hear the leaves all on the ground. And what did I see right here? Do you remember what else was on our list? Some grass was on our list, wasn't it? There's still a little tuft of grass coming out from in the leaves. We can cross that off our list. We found some green grass. Let's keep looking. Look at, guys. Still the beautiful stream. You can tell some people had come through. Look, they cut down some of our trees. So there's a beautiful oak tree that they cut down. All up through there, I guess. They had their reasons to cut it down, huh? This is where the stream crosses under our road. We drive over that. And then look here, guys. Do you remember the tree that we looked at the big roots last year? Last spring? There it is. It still has the big roots sticking out of the ground. I don't think I'll walk down in there today. It looks a little wet. But there's the big roots. It still has those rocks attached to it. We still have some green ferns sticking out of the ground. A lot more branches, don't we? A lot more twigs. And some brown leaves. Well, I don't know. Could we call those orange leaves way up there? We'll have to look. Maybe we'll still find an orange leaf. So this is the one stream. Still looks pretty good though. Still has a lot of water. We just had a lot of rain last week. Let's go down to the next one. Where's the water? This is the stream bed. It does have it's a little damp in there. But look, it has dried up. There's a little water down there with some leaves floating in it. But the second stream on our road doesn't stay flowing all year. It dries up because our weather's dried up. It'll come back next spring. Let's go over the list. We found our red leaf. We found an acorn. We found a rock. We found pine needles. We found a pine cone. We found the grass. We found brown leaves, didn't we, guys? We've got brown leaves everywhere. We found a twig. We found a green leaf. We need a pail and an orange leaf. Now, I did find one that I thought was pretty close to maybe what we needed. And if you look, this one does have some orange on it, up in the tips of it. Another maple leaf. So we can count that as our orange leaf, because we're all the way down at the bottom of the hill here. I don't know, they all look like they're yellow and brown to me. Some reds. We did find the pretty red one. Going past that other stream now. I didn't bring any of the puppies with me this time, did I? If Austin's dog would have been here, I would have brought him, but he's not here. He's back at Penn State. Such a pretty picture. Come on, let's go back up. We'll look for a pail. You hear that? That was a hawk, guys. He's up in the tree. I don't know if I can find him. Yep, right there he is, guys. Listen, there he flies. Did you see the hawk? He's right there now. I bet you he's looking for some supper. Listen, maybe he'll call again. So what do you think, guys? Is the fall scavenger hunt, is it different or the same as the spring scavenger hunt? It's different, isn't it? We got to look for different things. We got to see different things. The leaves look different. The animals for sure were different, right? And the plants looked different. So they're all getting ready to have another beautiful spring like we just had last spring. They're preparing for next spring, and that's why it all goes to sleep like this. So I think we found everything today on our scavenger list except for one thing. Wait a second. Look, I found the pail. I had to go get it, and it's obviously not the biggest pail, but the last thing on our list was the pail. So here it is, guys. Thanks for coming along on my scavenger hunt today. I can't guarantee I'm going to do one in the wintertime, but we'll see, okay?